Get everyone to understand where the market finished off on the second trading day of the week. We started with the stock market earlier on the show. We lost 0.35%. That's a very small patch. If you put that in naira terms, it's just around 60 billion naira, but it's been a steady decline since the new month started. Towards the end of last month, the very big jump we had earlier in the year since faded. So the broad index heading towards 30,000 is now around 28,432 to finish off the second trading day, which was Tuesday. The market below the 15 trillion naira mark in terms of total value of the equity side of the Nigerian stock market. Roll that away. Let's look at the Tuesday trading day. That's your primary market indicators in terms of the turnover, naira value, and the number of transactions. Earlier was speaking about the banking sector. Let's get the banks back into focus. Union Bank issued a notice to the market about the closed period for the release of its 2019 financials. Consumer goods down 0.82%. An investment note released by United Capital says the consumer goods will be a bit under pressure. You may want to read that up. Industrial goods lost about less than 0.1% on Tuesday. The insurance were down 0.65%, with a number of them like Mutual Benefits Insurance reporting their and African Alliance reporting 2019 numbers. And oil and gas about 0.2%. And that came from Owando. So we just flip that. You see Owando coming through with those numbers. That's some of the oil and gas stocks for you on the counter. That's just about what we have for the stock market. Let's quickly check in with the NESD over-the-counter market. That's your unlisted securities market. Started the week 0.1% negative on Monday and unchanged on Tuesday. And of course, if you now find to, these are just a very small size of transactions traded on Tuesday. Let's get a bit of the opening call on our fixed income space, bringing some exchange rate conversation into the yield curve environment. Nkema Zinge is a currency trader at UBA. Nkem, thank you so much for coming through from FMDQ Exchange Place. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Great. So should we start the conversation from currencies market? Where are we at the I&E window?
The I&E window has lost the gains that they had last week. As of last week, Monday, it was at 361. But then as at yesterday closed, it was 363.75. So we've probably seen like a depreciation of about 20 kobo in that market, just basically due to the fact that there is less supply. There was an NDF maturity last week, Wednesday, and we saw that we didn't have too many foreign investors roll over their investment. So they've been repatriating funds and taking profit. So that has put pressure on the I&E market.
So generally speaking, where is this sell-off pressure coming from? What's causing this pressure? Is it the global uncertainties that we see from external vulnerabilities and all that?
I think some of it might be because of global pressures. If there's a fear that there could be a global recession or a fear that this virus could impact markets globally, we would probably see most investors leaving emerging markets first. But majority of the foreign players that we've spoken to have actually said they're just taking profit. So they will repatriate their funds, take profit, and then coming later on in the year.
So what you said, like you said, you spoke into a number of these offshore portfolio investors. So if you are institutional investors locally, what's the general sentiment as we get deeper into the new year? February is still early in the new year, but of course, if you're looking at the calendar, I'm sure we're just getting to the middle of the first quarter.
Well, currently, most of the banks are facing CRR pressures, so they're dealing with like tighter liquidity. So we're going to continue to see that happening. But coming into the on Thursday, we expect OMO maturity, so that would be a bit of a relief for them. For the other institutional players, obviously the yield environment is not the most attractive for them, but they have to invest. So people are hoping that later, towards the end of the quarter, we would probably see a reversal in these yields and see yields probably pick up. We saw at the last NTB auction that yields inched up a little bit. So there's hope that that would continue to happen and there will be a better yield environment.
What's their outlook, your outlook or playbook for exchange rate?
Well, I think that the pressures, as long as there's still repatriation of funds and we have a supply issue, that we would continue to see there be pressure on like the INE window. However, once that slows down, we'll probably see things revert to around 361, 362 levels like we saw it last week. So I think this is just going to be short-lived.
So how are you getting ready for the liquidity that's coming into the system through matured treasury repayments this week and next week, taking us through February the 13th, thereabout?
Well, we've seen a lot of investors who are like front loading their maturities. So we've seen like demand on the long end of the curve, especially in the bonds, like 2049 bonds. We've seen that happening just in expectation of the 606 billion maturity coming on the 13th. We've also seen, like in the treasury bill space, it's been mixed sentiments. We've seen people sell off just to manage liquidity, and we've also seen those who lost out in the auctions buying there. So it's basically mixed sentiments, and I think that's what we would continue to see. Once the maturities hit, though, we would probably see yields dip a little bit because that would be a lot of liquidity in the system, and people would be looking for where to place those funds.
Very interesting scenario. So a final one, Nkem, what's your playbook, generally speaking, for the market for the year from UBA's perspective?
Sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah, I was asking what your playbook is for the year, generally speaking, from UBA's perspective, from your trading firm. Sorry, I guess we lost Nkem Azinga there, who is a currency trader at UBA, bringing us up to speed on what the sentiments are from investors trying to sell off, taking some profits on emerging and frontier markets in the wake of coronavirus scare. But the markets, as you've heard earlier, is stabilizing this morning, globally speaking. How much of that flow into our own market street? We'll wait till later in the day to get a sense of that. But let's get a sense of where we are right now as the opening call on our market street from the Nigerian Stock Exchange trading floor. We bring you Edidiong Enwang, my colleague there, who is reporting for us this morning. Eddie, good morning. It's good to have you on the show. You want to patch us in some of the market details that you have at this point in time?
Well, good morning, Bosin. Good to be on the show. So right now, as we speak, the market is currently up 0.24%, with the all-share index at 28,501.64. So we've seen about 10 million shares traded so far, worth 81 million naira. Two sectors are driving the market, the banking sector and the insurance sector. The banking is up by 1.44% and insurance is up about 0.18%. All the other sectors are unchanged as we speak. On the list of top trades, you have FBNH, you have Union Bank, you have Sterling Bank, you have ICO Insurance, and same on the gainers list, with Union Bank and ICO Insurance. And it will interest you to know that investors are most likely reacting to ICO Insurance earnings, which was released this morning. Their earnings for the period ended December 31. They released really impressive earnings. Their gross premium written is up 30%. The gross premium income is up about 35%. The net premium income is up 31%. Profit before tax is up 76% at 6.14 billion naira. Profit after tax is up 86% at 5.6 billion naira. So, investors are most likely reacting to the impressive earnings on that, because right now, that stock is on the list of top trades. It's also among the gainers as we speak. It's up 2.47% and trading at 83 kobo. There's a lot going on in the insurance sector right now. African Alliance Insurance also released their earnings. Not so impressive, but then the gross premium is also up. The net premium income is also up at this time. Suno Assurance has notified the market and investors and members of the company of an extraordinary general meeting which will be held on Monday, March the 9th. So this meeting is being held for them to approve some resolutions. The The company is seeking to share capital reconstruction, by cancellation of 4 existing ordinary shares out of every 5 ordinary shares. So once this is done, it means that the total number of ordinary shares will be 2.8 billion, while 11.2 billion ordinary shares will be cancelled or unlisted. The company is also seeking to raise by capital 8 billion naira, by issuance of ordinary shares. Now, this could be done through public listing, So there's a lot going on in the insurance sector right now, and that's probably what's driving that counter right now, Bosin.
So very interesting. We thank you, Edidion. Of course, the insurance sector, folks are in big focus. The earnings, as you talked about, is what investors are trading. But it looks like a very nice opening call on the stock market for today. Thank you so much, Edidion, Channels TV business correspondent, live to us from the trading floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Have a great day, everyone. That's how we wrap up the show for today. Let's get together tomorrow, Thursday, the 6th of February, and continue from here. Goodbye from Lagos, everyone, and have a great day.